I want to speak about my professional journey. It all started in 2007 when I joined Tata Consultancy Services as a fresher, graduating from an engineering college. I did my bachelor's in computers and IT, and later on I joined TCS. And I've happened to work with some of the very reputed and premium clients of IT industry and across different business sectors. And coming to various platforms, I worked on testing, I worked on development, and later on I thought I should pursue my career towards management. And I didn't have an MBA degree at that time. Neither did I have the opportunity to quit my job and pursue and again become a student after working for 3 years, like my other friends. So I had to do my post graduation as an executive MBA, working parallelly. So for that, I've got the required permission from my company to pursue my studies along with my job. And after that, I happened to reach one of my regional heads and one of the most senior leaders in TCS, expressing my areas of interest and inclination towards what kind of roles that I want to take up and what kind of work that I'm interested in. So he's, as it says, leadership is all about inspiring others and bringing them up. That's what makes you a leader. So I've got the required opportunity, and I joined the resource management group as a unit lead and as a regional lead, working with some of the other senior regional leads and senior heads, regional heads, and global heads. And it was a very good experience for me. That is where I have seen what is meant by a war room. I never knew earlier what are meant by war rooms and what is the actual corporate culture. So that gave me an opportunity to see everything, to work with some of the most reputed leaders and learn the work from them. So I didn't have at least 5 years of experience then. So I got this. I'm thankful for my family. I was brought up by my grandparents. My grandfather has got the leadership qualities and managerial qualities. So from whom I have learned a lot from my childhood, and also from my other family members who spend a lot of time and efforts in teaching leadership and management at home for us the way we can understand. And that has become an added advantage for us to show our management and leadership qualities in office. So that is how I managed to take up some good roles and senior roles within 5 years of experience, but that's completely towards management. So I thought I should learn something on the application side. And so I wanted to understand what exactly happens within a program, within a portfolio, within a project. So then I happened to reach out to my regional lead and asked him, so this is what I am looking at. So I want to learn, working in the IT industry, I want to have some expertise in some specific application and not on the corporate level where I had this I was a little bit, I have to say, though I didn't have a necessity to worry about. But see, as you say, no matter how much guidance you have, also you always lag behind some way or the other. and that is where you have to rely on your time and life to teach you the required lessons. So I thought that I have to learn the application side. I have to be technically viable to work, not only on the management side, not only on the process related side. So I want to see what happens within a project. But I didn't have any technical expertise at that time, though I have worked on testing and SQL development, PL SQL development. That was not my area of. I understood that that was not my area of interest. So coding and development is something which I am not really inclined to take that ahead as a career and be a professional or a senior developer or an executive. So I reached out to one of the senior leaders in TCS, asking for suggestions as to what do you want me to take ahead. Now I want to learn. I want to get into the portfolio level. So I was working much ahead of the portfolios. I was working much ahead of the programs in the project. So I wanted to have my graph a little bit down so that what do you call a ECG also the graph shows the ups and downs. That is when your career goes. If it's a straight line, there's no scope for further growth. So I reached out to my senior leaders and I asked, I want to get into the portfolio level. I want to learn. I want to see what happens there. Then he came back asking me that good or bad, somehow you join my team. And it is my regular practice. It's my responsibility of not only my team and all my bosses to take care of our team members. And having less than 5 years of experience, I made you reach out to the topmost leadership teams of the company, and there is nothing further that you can reach out to. And at this point of time, you want to again go back and do things or check things at the portfolio level. Then I said, then he asked me, do you really want to take this risk in your life? Then I'm like, yes, I want to take this risk. I want to, because I don't even have 5 years of experience. And because of my family, I've got this leadership qualities by God's grace somehow. So I could manage to work in your team. But what next for me? So I want to see the other aspects of the company, what happens within a project, what happens within a portfolio. So then he asked me, you're not technically vigilant, so you go as a operations manager or as a PMO lead or a PMO anchor for one of the most reputed projects. It's a government project, AP transfer project, that the TCS have got at that time. So it's not a revenue based project, but more of a government reputation based project. That is what is more important for the company, keeping aside the revenues part of it. So you go and work with them, and you need to drive things right from the steering committee level, because there is no team at all. I've just got the best of the best delivery managers, sales managers, and the best team to take care of that project, and you're one among that. So I said, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would definitely put in my best efforts in developing the project as well as developing myself. So I joined the team and I've got real good exposure. I've seen things happening with the project starting from the steering committee level, before the project actually begins. What happens with the delivery managers, with the sales managers, with the entire sales teams, with the client communication, contract sign off, where we used to go to secretariat, where all the politicians sit and get the contract sign off from the IAS officers and ministers. So it's a kind of a very reputed project for TCS, because TCS generally handles this kind of government related projects on the side, uh, where all the revenue based projects are on the other side. As we know, there is definitely a difference between the government project and the different sectors and business sectors of project that the company takes up. That is where we have different verticals and horizontals divided in the company to take care of each sector of business, to help and support and develop each sectors of the business. So I joined that project, and after that, it was a very good exposure. I had to take care of four different locations in setting up the complete infrastructure for the four different locations in Hyderabad itself. I was anchoring from Hyderabad. I am the single point of contact, and there were around 200 to 250 people sitting in the floor, for which I had to take the responsibility from the operations standpoint. So I was working on this, and later on I thought that maybe I'm still lagging behind. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still not contented with what I have learned. It's more on the management side. It's more on the business side. It's more on the operations side. More on the process side. I want to learn something on the application process. Now I have seen the organizational process, what happens from the technical project standpoint or the functional project standpoint. Now I want to learn further, and this is the time where I have to really take the risk of learning. So I had this thirst and hunger for learning new things which I didn't knew. People were like, what is making you run so much? What is making you struggle so much? You are already sitting with some of the best leaders in the company, best teams. So what is making you go down and down and down further? Then I said, see, it all depends on how you perceive things. Whether you think that you're going down or you're trying to improve yourself. So I don't think I'm really going down. I want to have knowledge about things from the application point of view. And I happened to ask one of my very senior delivery managers, who has been in on-site for most of his time, almost for 10-15 years, and came back, and I happened to work with him, fortunately. And it was when you work with such senior leaders in the industry, not even having 5 years of experience handling such big roles, fortunately out of your family's guidance or your personal development or self learning, whatever you call it, you obviously you are treated as a small child in front of such stalwarts in the company. So they took the additional responsibility, as my parents, to drop me at home, pick me from home whenever it is late, and call me asking, it's already late. Did you reach home? You please take care. Your grandfather will be really worried about you, and things like that. So one of the fortunate things is that my grandfather already worked as a joint director of industries in government sector, and he was working for one of the newspaper and media companies, handling some very senior roles, working with the chairman and managing director of the company directly. So I had that exposure towards the senior leadership teams in the company at my office. So then I happened to ask him, like, I want to learn something on the application side. Then he said, no, at this point of time, you really can't get into, out of your interest, because you have already done the development and you were not inclined towards it. That is when you have pursued, you thought of, you have streamlined your career towards management. So you better take up some enterprise solution application, where you get that exposure of configuring the application, as well as having the functional knowledge of the business and the enterprise, what happens in the organization at a enterprise wide point of view. So then I happened to learn SAP, and sales is my expertise because I have done my masters in marketing and HR. So I have taken up SAP sales as a module, and I have learned it. And it's not a cakewalk. It was really very difficult for me to manage both learning and getting a professional certification, which is a 1 year or more than 1 year program, and at the same time managing the office timings, and managing such senior roles. Then I moved to SAP. I reached out to one of the unit heads, asking him that I want to work on SAP. Then they said, "Do you really want to work on SAP?" Then I said, "Yeah, I want to work on SAP." So then, okay, fine. We have a new project coming in SAP. You can take up that project. So I joined that project as a, whether you call it as a lead or a team member, having worked across all the locations of TCS. I joined as a team member, and at the same time I used to handle some PMO related activities and audit related activities. People help me learn, get familiar with the environment, and learn, start working on the application. Then after that I happened to join Infosys, and Infosys has really considered my overall profile, which has got a diversified roles and skills, starting from the higher levels till the team member level or the team lead level, from the regional lead level. So it was a very exceptional CV, which the HR said. So I said, "Yeah, that is my career trajectory. What do you want me to do?" Then she is like, and I was recruited. My CV was reviewed by, I have to say, one of the most beautiful and very good looking HRs in the company at that time. I don't think she's not there in the company now. She shifted to some other company. So she is considered to be the Angelina Jolie for the company, at least for Hyderabad at that time. So she reviewed my resume, and again I had to enter. I had to attend a number of interviews and then get through it. And though there was a little bit issue with the kind of designation and the role that I have been given, so that but I keeping see, any company will have pros and cons. It depends on how you handle the situation, how you try to get through the things. So hurdles and obstacles are there everywhere. There is no company which is a cakewalk for you. So that is what makes you really learn new things. So after joining Infosys, then I got this real good environment and platform to work across the different projects, more than how much I have worked in TCS. So I work with the different clients across different units, across different geographies, and I get to work on number of SAP end-to-end implementations, working across all the phases of SAP, starting from requirements gathering, design, implementation, configuration, testing, support, maintenance, hypercare as an individual contributor and as a lead working at the client locations. So I got real good exposure. I happened to travel different states, attend different workshops where the clients have come from various countries, 7 to 8 countries. I happened to attend one of the most reputed workshops of that particular unit, the project that I was taking care of in Mumbai. So that was a very big workshop with all the clients coming from around 7 to 8 different countries together. And I was asked to attend it from Infosys, from Hyderabad, from the location I'm working from. I'm the single point of contact. So there are so many other projects that I have worked across. Um, so some of the projects I worked only for the stakeholder management. Some of the projects I worked only for the integration related aspects of it. And some of the projects I have worked for various things as part of my experience. So as you say, what is a process? So this is all comes under as a delivery process. So somebody asked me, what do you mean by delivery? What exactly do you mean by delivery process? So for those, a delivery process, I actually got this privilege of learning new concepts as part of thought dimensions because I have started the thought dimensions as a leadership and management coaching institute. So I get to understand what exactly is management. I get to understand what exactly is leadership to teach to others. So that is one of the aspects beyond my profession, which gave me additional knowledge to know what exactly is management and leadership. So somebody asked me, what exactly is the delivery process according to you? Are you like, see, there are different sectors of delivery managers as well. So somebody who takes care of the deliverables point of view, he doesn't need to move from his place. Just only take care of the projects. A team of 100 to 100 people take care of, have a track of the deliverables and at the code level, at the implementation level, at the weekly status deliverable level, he will have a track of it. I have seen even senior VPs and VPs also nowadays follow the technical developers, come down to the level of technical developers and have a track of things at the code level, line by line, point by point, etc. And on the other side of it, there are DMs, there are SDMs and VPs who don't bother about what happens in the application, what happens at the code level, while they are really concerned about what happens at the overall project. So they will be responsible for running the project from the process point of view. So there are two different aspects of it. So that is what they say, the process and the project. So project is a part of a program is part of a portfolio, and process has the overall visibility of the project, whether it in terms of audits or whether in terms of managing your clients or stakeholders, getting new deals, getting new projects, getting new requirements, understanding the requirements, the feasibility of it, and then making the team understand and work on the requirements. So that there are different process areas or knowledge areas in management and in delivery. We have integration, we have different applications, and integration with all the applications where the architecture comes into picture. In the middleware, integration with the middleware for the data flow, from the end user point of view, from the client point of view, and from where you are developing that application and on what application you are running the client is expecting you to work on. So there is a scope management, there is a resource management, there is communication and coordination management, there is stakeholder management, and there are different process areas that are a part of delivery. So, as a technical person, you don't need to work on all those things. And as a process executive or a process person, you don't need to work on the technical aspects of it. So that is where actually I have taken that risk. When I had the leverage of directly learning, directly going from a senior position, from a regional lead or a unit lead, to shift to the process, that is where the different track or the path that I have taken to learn from the functional perspective, getting down to the developer level. So that is where my career has taken a Z curve or a different turn when compared to others, and it is still going on. And I feel that this planning, executing, designing, um, coordinating, directing, controlling. So if you say it in sequence, it's planning, designing, executing, or directing, coordinating, controlling is all part of the delivery. So fortunately, I've got this opportunity to work across different processes and different phases of delivery. So this is what I call it as a managing and directing. So this is the delivery process. So many of the people have got lot of doubts and clarifications as to what is meant by delivery process. So is it process or is it technology? So there are two different paths, from the functional, from the technical, and from the process standpoint. So this is in every organization we will have these things, but across different units and different verticals. Like there's a different marketing communication, there is a different stakeholder communication at the portfolio level, marketing communication at the business level. But overall, is what is the your exact potential to get the clients, convince the clients, get the business, work on the application, give the deliverables, and have a control over your career trajectory and where you want to go, and where what is your potential that you can go further, and help others also grow along with you. That is what makes you a leader. So this is what is I wanted to really explain about my career graph or career trajectory till now. So have to wait and see about my next career, where it takes me, how it takes me, where I'm going to flourish, what is going to be my real Z curve in terms of my career ahead.